Welcome to Car Wars, a look at the activities surrounding Thunder Mountain Motorsports in 1999. We start our show at the 9th Annual Memory Cruise. Traditionally, Memory Cruise weekend kicks off Friday night with Cops and Robbers, a fundraiser for the local DARE program. To explain Cops and Robbers, here's Officer Tim Fisher.
Okay.
You want to explain to the folks exactly what we're doing?
This is the Cops and Robbers, where for $5 per vehicle, per heat, we get 30-minute heats where the police officers go out and find the vehicles with a marker in the window and stop them and take their marker and write the time on it. And the last person stopped is the winner.
Now, if you want to do well at this, you probably don't want one of the fancier cars that stick out, do you?
No, plain Jane, typical Subaru or Chevy pickup works great because no one can really pick it out. You have to really look for it.
Just like, almost like undercover cop cars.
Kind of.
Just the old, like in the old days, the old LTDs with the dog pan hubcaps on them.
Something that no one will notice. We're gonna run the alleys.
Okay.
Alleys have been good to me.
When I was in high school, we used to do this for free, but then if we got caught, we were in trouble.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to be like able to legally do this.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. Although we do have to obey all traffic laws.
Yeah.
This is kind of like Cops.
Yeah.
And Suburban's down.
Unfortunately, 1999 would be the year of the no-show. Last-minute legal concerns would not allow local law enforcement to come out and play. With Cops and Robbers a no-go, attention turned to Saturday's car show in the park. Once we got over 100 cars in the Geyser Pullman Park in Baker City, Oregon, it didn't take our judges too long to figure out who the best of the best were. Right now, let's take a look at the class winners from Memory Cruise. For the original unrestored class, sponsored by Cenex, third place was Steve Bowman of Meridian, Idaho. Second place belonged to Marvin Christ of Haines, Oregon. And first place in class, Julie Hayward of Mount Vernon. In Class 200 for cars built before 1954, sponsored by P&E Distributing, Roger Stamey was in third place from North Powder, Oregon. Second place belonged to Larry Hellier of LeGrand, Oregon. And first place was Roger Stamey once again from North Powder. In Class 1955 through 1964, sponsored by Telfax, third place was Terry Schumacher from Baker City. Second place was Stephen Craig of Pendleton, Oregon. And first place, Tom Beaver from Baker City. In Class 65 through 72 stock automobiles, sponsored by Baker Muffler, third place was Ron McKenzie from Idaho. Second place was Al and Karen Smith from Meridian, Idaho. And first place went to Rick and Lori Daniel of Nampa, Idaho. In Class Stock 73 to present, sponsored by the Wagon Wash, third place was Ron Irby of Baker City. Second place belonged to Herman Dopp, also of Baker City. And the winner in this class, Stephen Nelson from North Powder. One beautiful car that slipped underneath the judge's radar was this 1946 Chevy sedan owned by Tim Logston from Boise, Idaho. It didn't take home any trophies, but it sure got a lot of curious onlookers checking out the beautiful work that was done on this classic Chevrolet. In factory muscle cars, sponsored by Mel's Auto Parts, third place was Mike Kilkearney of the Dowells. Second place was Jerry Brookshire of LeGrand. And first place was Rick Clark from Hermiston. In the convertible class, sponsored by Mountain View, third place was Doug DeRoos from LeGrand. Second place was John Clark from Haynes. And first place was Howard and Sandy Payton from Baker City. In the Corvette and T-Bird class, sponsored by Trails West Insurance, third place was Ron Nance from LeGrand. Second place was Clarence and Michael Herndon from Baker City. And first place, Eleanor Dopp from Baker City. In the customized and modified, sponsored by Lube Depot, third place was Andy Anderson from Hermiston. Second place was Alan Robinson from Payette. And first place was Jamie Christie from Jefferson, Oregon. In 55 through 57 Chevrolet, sponsored by Baker Valley Auto, third place was Vince Payton from Baker City. Second place was Clarence and Michael Herndon, also from Baker City. And your winners, Ken and Sally Shue, also from Baker City. Closed Street Rod, sponsored by Baker Electric. Third place went to Elvis Lamar from the Dalles. Second place, Donald Wilson from Fruitland, Idaho. And first place in class, Leroy Gornick from Baker City. Roadsters, sponsored by Dihedral Film Group. Hey, that's us. Third place was Jim McElroy from Baker City. Second place was Pete Allen from Mount Vernon. And the winner in this class, George Rayburn from Portland, Oregon. Race cars, sponsored by F&I Speed Equipment. Third place, Nicole Streifel from Haines, Oregon. Second place was Scott Bartlett from Baker City. And first place in class, Clarence and Michael Herndon from Baker City. During the memory cruise in the park and the car show held there, a four-wheeler was given away, raffled off in fact, and the lucky winner was Gary Goodwin from Milton Freewater. In pickups, 1959 and older, sponsored by Sonny's Bar and Grill, third place was Charles Raber from Hermiston. Second place, Floyd Duncan from Baker City. And first place, Al Hawkins from Hood River. In pickups from 1960 to the present, sponsored by Triple C Ready Mix, third place was Alan Jensen from Baker City. Second place was Leonard Wolf from Prairie City. And the winner in this class was Danny Noth from Stanfield. In El Camino and Ranchero, sponsored by Truck Corral, third place was Del Avery from Dayton, Washington. Second place was Denny and Emily Soto from Nampa, Idaho. And the winner of this class, Wayne Ryder from Baker City. In foreign car and mini trucks, sponsored by Ragsdale Mobile Glass, third place was Don Weber from Baker City. Second place was Russ and Lisa Kennedy from Baker City. And the winner of this class, Joe Thompson. In custom tailgate, sponsored by S&B Tooling and Machine, third place was Jim Lindsay from Shed, Oregon. Second place was Gary Baxter from Baker City. And first place was Duran Brewster, also from Baker City. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, well, I've been waiting for. No oil, brick on the gas pedal, a BMW engine dies an ugly death. If you happen to see this car on a used car lot in a few weeks, do not buy it, because I think we're going to ruin it.
I forgot to put oil in it. 47 seconds, man. Seneca, what you doing?
Well, 47 seconds. And there was no oil at all in the crankcase. And this young lady in the crowd was nice enough to bring us a brand new engine for that car. Back to the awards. Best Ford, Eleanor Dopp from Baker City. Best Mopar, sponsored by Klondike's, Vicki Smith. Best GM, sponsored by Eagle Valley Furniture, Fred Reusser from Canyon City. The Long Distance Award, sponsored by the Sunridge, 401 miles by Jim Lindsay. Best in Show, sponsored by Superior Towing, George Rayburn from Portland, Oregon. And the People's Choice Award, the Cecil Morrison Trophy, sponsored by Thunder Mountain Motorsports, goes to Leroy Gornick of Baker City. With all the trophies handed out and everyone heading out of the park, it was time to go grab something to eat before the cruising activity began later that night in Baker. Speaking of cruising and grabbing something to eat, Happy Burger Drive-In on 10th Street and Lube Depot held 3 cruising events over the summer. We drew cars as far away as Prairie City and had tremendous turnout. It was a lot of fun in 1999, and be on the lookout for more cruise-in nights at other fast food establishments in the year 2000. Hey, who let that cat in here? Well, actually, that's Bandito, Didi for short. He's my assistant. Luckily, he thinks a raise in pay is extra salsa with his Doritos. Once we got our crew fed, it was time to head off to LeGrand for the Show, Shine, and Cruise event at Riverside Park. Co-sponsored by Telfax and the LeGrand Lions, this was a kickback kind of day to check out the sights and visit with old friends. One good friend was Ernie Grindy, who helped start our company several years ago. He shot a lot of great video for us, and we've always appreciated. Your winners in LeGrand for Class 100, Stock 54 and older, sponsored by Wayland Insurance. Third place was Ernie Grindy. Second place was Roger Stamey. And first place was Larry Hellier. Class 200, 5 through 1965, sponsored by Apple Eye Care. Third place was Ed Longhorn. Second place was Ken and Sally Shoe. And first place was Howard Payton. In Class 300, 1966 through 1975, sponsored by Republic, third place was Ron Rees. Second place was Jerry Brookshire, who also took the Lion's Choice Award. And first place was Wayne Ryder. Class 400, 1976 to the present, sponsored by Pioneer Bank. Third place was Jerry Bass. And second place was Larry Kissick. In Class 500, third place was Ken Burke. Second place was Floyd Duncan, who also won the People's Choice Award for his truck. And first place was Dan Bach, who won also Best Finish and Best Engine. One person awards but definitely has the right spirit is Donna Hasseltine of Baker City. Her little blue Bomber is maybe not the fanciest rod in the world, but she's having a great time driving it and knows how to share hot rodding with her friends and her family. You go, Donna, and we'll see you on the road again next year. In Class 600 for 4x4 pickup trucks, sponsored by Bank America, third place was Dave Hallmark. Second place was Joe Valak. And first place was Matt Serene. Class 700 for street rods. Third place was Bob Staley. Second place was Al Fuller, who also won for Best Interior. And first place was Jim Smith. Class 800 for modified stock cars. Third place was Charles Butcher. Second place was Jeremy Hansen. And first place was Doug DeRoost. Class 900 U.S. Sports Cars, sponsored by the Trophy Case. Third place was Pat Naring. Second place was John Ott. And first place was Ron Nance. In the youth class, sponsored by Telfax, third place was Wes Craigmile. Second place was Ken Burke. And first place was Christopher Cook. And Class 1100 in motorcycles, Larry Furstenberg was our winner. Well, as you can see, with 200 combined entries, tons of fantastic cars of all different types to look at, great people to come check them out, and gorgeous weather, and the September show in LeGrand, lots and lots of fun. We hope you'll join us again next year to come look at the cars, and even better yet, to do what we all cruising.